Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. Last episode, Data finished all his running around, his little errands that he had to do between Dungeons 3 and 4, and now he's finally going to be able to enter Dungeon 4 and start looking for another of those Essences of Season. So, the dungeons though are starting to get a little bit more complex, and I won't necessarily be able to defeat them in one episode, but the game was originally released on a handheld, the Game Boy Color, and the developers, kind of thought of that, it's for, playing on the train or in the car or whatever. And so the dungeons always have that nice little midpoint in them where you defeat a mini-boss and then they put a warp zone back to the beginning of the dungeon. So while we're doing that quite a bit, we'll go in the dungeon, defeat the mini-boss in the middle, then exit the dungeon, save the game, and then that way, at the next time I boot the game up, I can jump right into that warp at the beginning and go right back to where I left off in the dungeon. So, developers are really nice to doing that. Had to change the season there to spring to get this flower to bloom, this trampoline flower. And then I'd have to change the season back to summer to get the vines to grow to take me finally into the dungeon. There's the entrance. We expose that by using the key on the summit. Get some vines in spring, and here we go. Now we could do a little bit more outside thing. We could get the last season fall on our rod right now. It's available, but the game doesn't tell you to do it, so I'm gonna get back into dungeon exploration here. Plus, it'll give me something to do between dungeons 4 and 5. I won't necessarily have to go right from 4 to 5. And again, the way these games are kind of structured, they basically start. It's not like the first Legend of Zelda, where you basically, all the dungeons are available pretty much at the beginning. You just can wander around the overworld and find whatever dungeon you wanted to do and then go do it. It seems like since Link Awakening, the way they've been doing it is they've had a dungeon, and then before you can get to the next dungeon, you have to do like kind of a puzzle, a little bit of a mini quest on the overworld. So we'll have another one, like I said, coming up. Although it is accessible right now. Here we have a little puzzle. We just gotta push pots on all these little buttons. And then the final button, we just have to stand on ourselves. And that'll get us a key. And we'll get Data a key. Donk. And there we go. And I just did that for symmetry purpose. OCD. Oh, I showed a little earlier there. I used the Rod of Seasons to damage those Stalfos. Basically like undead monsters you can use the Rod of Seasons on, but it's much weaker than your regular sword, so there's no real reason to do that. Although, for the final boss in the game, it is important that you do use the Rod of Seasons. Not to damage the boss, but for another reason. We'll see that on much, much later. This is only the 4th dungeon. I have plenty more to go in this game. Plenty more if you consider, or Data has plenty more to do if you consider, eventually we're going to do the linked games. After this, he will head to Labrina, where his brother Maverick is right now. And conversely, Maverick will come over here to Hologrome. Uh-oh, Wizrobes! Okay, they're not as bad as the Wizrobes in Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda. It appeared at level 6. Those guys were a pain. But also slightly less of a pain in this game than Link's Awakening, because you could defeat them with just your sword. In Link's Awakening, you had to throw bombs at them. We saw how good Maverick is at destroying these bombs in Oracle of Ages Dungeon 3. We had to destroy those Armoses with just bombs. Not necessarily the best weapon to destroy things with. Although, I mean, Data had to defeat the boss, the Dodongo, in level 2 with it. So, he's capable if he needs to. More platforming. And here's the interesting thing, Yoku blocks. Disappearing blocks, they're more common in Mega Man games than, Zelda games, but luckily, I guess they realized that, and that pattern is not very complex. And because I'm playing on a Game Boy Advance emulator, this screen is a little lighter than what it normally is, so I don't even have to put an Ember Seed in that torch to light it up. I can still see it, but as you can see, if you need to, you can put it on the top or the either left or the right side. So the game was nice that it allows it access from different areas. So if you are playing like a regular Game Boy Color, you can get your way through that. Evil spikes. They're bad because they bounce you and take a bunch of hearts off. There's a ring, I don't know if I have it yet though, the spike ring that reduces the damage you take from spikes. Oh, there's something I haven't had to do yet. In the Link's Awakening, you can use your magic powder to destroy the bubbles. In this game, you don't have magic powder, we have all those seeds. Instead, we can use our boomerang. And I hit it, unfortunately, I lit it a little too early. So I'm gonna have to pull out my boomerang again and hit this. Not have good luck hitting it with my sword. These minecarts are a pretty neat gimmick. Kind of, with the tracks, they limit how you can go in and around a room. Well, if this minecart wasn't there and there were just regular doors, you could, go in and out of that room at will and exit it at will, however you want to do it. So, it just makes the dungeon seem a little bit bigger. There's our Stalfos again. As you can see, it takes 2 hits with the sword. It took 4 with the Rod of Seasons, so... We got a whole bunch of keys on the west side of the map now. You can start opening up the east side. Boomerangs can get a lot of use in this dungeon. Got a lot of those bubbles. And the item in this dungeon will be a new projectile weapon. Right now, like our boomerangs basically always, well, other than, like throwing bombs, but that's really our only ranged weapon. We're actually going to be getting a ranged weapon finally in this. Just like how Maverick got a ranged weapon in Dungeon 3. He got the seed shooter. Data's gonna get a different item to shoot seeds. But gotta take out those Stalfoses. Gotta get that key, pair them in the middle. First you have to push this block over. But you have to defeat the Stalfoses and all the other enemies too. Remember, you have to defeat all enemies before you can push blocks or most times before you can defeat, before you can push a block, you have to defeat all the enemies. That was a real problem when I first played The Legend of Zelda the first time. I never played The Legend of Zelda back before, like the internet and the Nintendo Power and all those things were out there to help you out when you got stuck. I remember getting to level 5, and I had to, in that room while the dog nuts were, you had to defeat them to push the block to get to the staircase that took you to the room with the whistle. And I was like, I just want to push the block, but I didn't know that you had to defeat all the enemies first. I kept trying to push the block and it wouldn't work, and I was like, I don't know what to do. One thing I want to do is I want to hit that switch, because as soon as I get off this minecart, I'm heading back in, and I have to get a key from the room here on the left. I saw, unfortunately, I lost my shield. That one total hit me, and with spiky enemies hit me and forced me into the like. That made me lose my shield. So I will have to buy another shield again. They're only 30 rupees. Not too bad. But there's still a lot of stuff that we want to buy. We have to buy another Gasha seed in the special shop. And then there's always Gasha seeds and stuff to buy from Maple. Alright, let's go find some mystery seeds here. Feed the owl. So the game kind of gives you an idea, like, that you're going to need the Pegasus seeds here. In case you haven't played Link's Awakening. Greater speed gives greater distance, and that's a clue that we got in Link's Awakening. When you first got the Rock's Feather, that, you know, the faster you run, the more you can, more spaces you can clear with the Rock's Feather. So normally you can only clear 1, but with Rock's Feather you can clear up to 3. If you time it correctly. Most of the time it's just safe to get 2. Now we gotta keep in mind this room here. We have the tome that shows there's a key in there, but we have no way to light those torches. Unfortunately, when we finally get a way to light those torches, we might have forgotten that room, so that's why I said you gotta keep that room in mind. And that guy's selling a bunch of Ember Seeds, kind of a ripoff, because there's gonna be a mini boss we need to use Ember Seeds to defeat down here, but there's gonna be those plants that keep respawning. So, yeah, you just can pick up Ember Seeds right here, if need be. Can you see through my power? And we got this wizard who looks like Aghanim from A Link to the Past. And he actually kind of behaves like the second Aghanim, where he splits into 3. But his special thing is, when it's all dark, you can't tell which one to hit. The only way you can tell which one to hit is by lighting up the room and seeing which one of the clones leaves a shadow. That's the real one. So yeah, see there's Ember Seeds right there that we can pick up. And here we got an old man to give us a clue. And a bunch of pots to refill our hearts and items. What you seek is in the eye. Eye seem to be a reoccurring theme in Zelda. A lot of the bosses in A Link to the Past were like eyeballs. Boss in Dark World Dungeon 2, Dungeon 6, Dungeon 5. And if you think about it, Blind the Thief, the blind guy, he had kind of like an eye theme going with him in Dungeon 4. These Stalfos. Take our cart. More switches that we can't reach. But like I said, we're going to get a ranged weapon that allows us to reach those switches. And they'll also allow us to reach those torches that we couldn't light a few rooms ago before the mini-boss. Post. We have to get that item. And to get that item, what will help you here is using Pegasus Seeds. Because when you push that block onto the button to make the item, the treasure chest appear, as you can see, the floor starts collapsing. And if the floor collapses, you don't reach the slingshot, you're basically just going to have to leave the room and restart again. Of course, you lose some life every time you fall in the pit, so let's get our happy little scent seeds out. And if you miss, if you miss the second one, that's okay. Because there's the room here. If you would have missed one of them, you would have just went to this middle room there, and you can start again and only have to hit one of them. But I got lucky for managed to get them all. Also, this is where we're gonna, the next room was gonna be that, where we put the clue, where you know what we seek is in the eye. In the Legend of Zelda, the first quest, Ganon's room was in the eye of the skull. Fortress level 9 was in the shape of a skull. His room was in the eye. That's what Zelda was. So we got this thing that looks like a skull in here. It's in the eye, so all I have to do is go into the left eye here, and then dive down and we get the key. We know that there was a key in here with that tone. So you might think, oh, I have to defeat all the monsters, and like that up one room, the key will drop down. But nope, the key's already hidden in this room. But earlier in the dungeon, that room where the key dropped down, it kind of shows you that, hey, a key can be underwater. And to get it, all you have to do is just dive. Because they had that key fall into the water. So that was nice. You know, the game, if you've never played before, don't know what to expect, the game already taught you. It showed you like, hey, look, this room right here, you defeat all the enemies, the key drops down, falls in the water. To get that key, just dive into the water, and you'll get it. And speaking of getting keys, we want to go back and backtrack to that room where the torches were. They were unlit. Now that we got a slingshot, we can light them with ember seeds. And that'll get us the final key that we need. We got the boss key, but we need another small key yet to progress. Just like when you select your seed statue, you can select which seed you want to shoot with your slingshot. And I did terrible there, but that's okay. The thing will reset. There's a minigame later on where you can target things with your slingshot. Let's hope I do better at that than right there. The good thing is, once we light those torches and the treasure chest appears, it'll stay there. So it's not like you have to go really fast and get back to this room before the torches burn out. There we go. We've completed most of the dungeon. There's only that one little section left where the boss is. And this boss can be a pain. There's two different ways to defeat this boss. I'll do it. I don't know which way I'm doing. Is it considered harder or easier? It just depends. But we'll do that in our next episode. So save my game here. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Have a good one. Thanks for following along. Bye.